Just when we were about ready to get back in the stew, Mother Nature gives us 10 inches of snow.
Was it?
Supposedly. I didn't go and measure, but we were supposed to get 10 inches.
That's about 10, Carl!
Yeah. It's about 9, but I'll take it. So, Raymon, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was pretty good. Took notes. I read my book. That book's crazy. This is the second time reading it. It is insane. It's a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a graphic novel. You know, like a story. You know, like a fictional thing.
Yeah.
It's a writing book as a graphic novel.
Okay.
Crazy. Anyway, so I've been reading that. Yeah, I was emailing a lot because we're making a movie and stuff. Pepper. I went to meet Gabby, the producer. Oh, there you go. The producer.
You said her name before.
Okay. I went to meet her at school.
Uh-huh.
And the funny thing about that was...
What's the funny thing?
So, Monday I didn't know it was going to snow until I checked my phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then,
God.
And the advisor was like, oh, yeah, it's supposed to snow. And so, yesterday, I woke up. And I was like, well, it doesn't look like that much. Because I told Gabby, I was like, oh, I'm going to go drive to the gas station to see if we can get the location locked for the thing. And so I went there, and, it was snowing. I'm like, oh, come on, Felicia. And I'm like, God's plan. I'm singing songs there. And then I get there. I was like, I'm the only one there. And so, I'm like, you're the boss, you're the big scary boss, like Monsters, Inc. I go in there. And the worker's there. And I'm like, can I speak to a manager? He's like, oh, they're not here. And I'm just like, oh, dang! This is the second time this has happened. So I was like, okay. And then she was like, you can come back around like 10:30 or call. And I was like, I'll probably call because I have class. And then I called. And turns out class was over Zoom because of the snow. Yeah. And I called because I was like, oh, it's still snowing. And I'm not getting my car stuck. Plus, if they're not even there still. Yeah. So I called, yeah. And they weren't there. So luckily I didn't go. And she was like, can I get your information so I could tell them today, hey, can you call this person back? And then they called me back 5 minutes later. And I was like, oh! And then I answered. And it was easy because I can just read off what Gabby said in the email that got blocked. So I could just read off of that and say, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh, all this stuff. And it turns out she was a film major. And she majored in film. She's like, oh, yeah, so I know what you get, And
That's
she said, cool. Yeah. And she said, anything we can do, yeah, make it work, yeah. So we got confirmation. I was like, hell yeah. So I texted Gabby, and I was a happy camper there because I was like, pfft. And then I met with Gabby, and we made Monday. She was like, do you have time tomorrow to meet in person or Zoom? Yeah. To talk over locations and updates. I was like, oh yeah, I have. My class ends at 1:40 in the comm building. Now, I forgot to tell her that I didn't have class in the comm building anymore. Yeah. That it was just over Zoom. But also, I didn't know we were meeting. She never confirmed. Yeah. She was like, are you available, anytime tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, yeah, after class. And I didn't hear anything back from that. She texted me and stuff. Yeah. But nothing in regards to meeting the next day. And so I was like, oh, I guess I'm meeting her then. And so I knew class would end early. Because it was over Zoom, and we're supposed to shoot, and we can't shoot because it's over Zoom. And so class ended, and I'm in my room. I'm doing stuff for the movie, and then I was like, oh, I better get down there. So I'm going, and she was like, oh, I just got here. So whenever your class ends, and so I'm at the crosswalk. I'm still probably 5, 6, 7 minutes away, and I'm just like, we're wrapping up. I speed over there. And so I didn't want to enter. She's downstairs in the comm building. So if I enter through the front door, she's right there.
There you go.
So I was like, I got a dilemma.
Smart.
Yeah. So I went in the back.
Oh.
What?
I thought you were going to go the top floor and just come down the stairs or something.
How would I have done that?
I don't know. I thought the comm building had multiple levels.
Well, it did, but I don't know how to get there.
There's a door to the second floor.
I know, but I didn't want her to take a chance to see me because there was glass windows.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so what I did was I went through the back.
Yeah.
And so I tried to open one door. It wasn't the comm building door, so that door was locked.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what the hell? And then I kept going down, hoping there was another door, and there was. I opened that door, and then there's these two guys talking, but I had my earbuds in. So apparently they were waiting for that door to open to like get in the comm building. And they had like called like, you know, a fellow worker or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I like walk in, I like go past them, and then the girl opens the door. I'm like, thank you. And then I walk in, and then they come in too, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's funny. And then I take my big jacket off, you know, to make it seem like I wasn't just walking in the snow. I take that off. I try to wipe my glasses off because, you know, they're all like
foggy and shit.
They're all foggy. And I do that and whatever. And I like try to wipe my nose because it's all like running because it's snow and it's cold. And then I like walk down and I'm like, oh hey. And then we get to talking. I don't know if she bought it.
Yeah.
Because
she just saw like a line, like a footsteps behind you of like snow. I just got back from class.
I couldn't think.
Literally dripping wet.
And I was like, what class do I say if she asks? Because I didn't want to say directing fiction because why would we?
Walking?
Yeah. The walking class here.
What class did you get back from?
You know they have a class that you ride horses? What's that called? Oh my god.
Horseback riding?
It might be racing horses. It starts with an E. But it's a club.
Equine sports.
Something.
Equestrian sports.
Equestrian. Thank you. Yeah, I found that out Monday too, and I was like, "What the heck?" I'm not gonna do that, but that's cool.
I would.
I just don't know when they meet.
That happens here though. Horseback riding like here.
I don't think it's. You have to go off campus. For
I know,
class.
But like it's Flagstaff still.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
My teacher owns a horse. I know someone else. I don't know if she has a horse here or if it's back where she lives. Several horse folk. I forgot the horse's name. But yeah, that was my Valentine's Day. How was yours?
Valentine's Day was pretty whatever. I mean, it was yesterday. From context clues, we gathered that. I woke up and I went to work, and I was gonna be there all day. I was gonna be there from 11 to 8, a 9-hour shift, and I was mentally not prepared because I didn't want to be there for 9 hours. And it was a Tuesday, so I was expecting me to be pretty slow. But I work in the fine jewelry department, and so it was pretty busy because people are last-minute Valentine's Day shopping. And honestly, like, kind of pissed me off some of the people there because it's mainly like dudes coming in and then they're like looking for a gift. I'm like, oh, what is like what are you gonna get her? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Day of, and you have no idea what you're gonna get this person.
Give me that ring.
Oh, I realized I didn't turn off my do not disturb. It's fine. But it's like, I don't know, like, and I'm like, does she wear a lot of jewelry? And he's like, I think so. I'm like, oh my god, what do you mean you think so? Like, what the fuck do you mean you think so? I'm like, well, if she does like, and then if they say yes, I'm like, does she wear a lot of like white gold, yellow gold? Like, what does she like?
White gold.
And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my god. It's so frustrating. And sometimes they just kind of like give up and they're like, I guess this works. And I'm like, what do you mean you guess this word? This is a gift for your beloved, you fucking asshole. It better work.
That's what he said inside. Now it came out as okay.
Okay, I'll read you. I'll be this register right over here. Let me box this up for you.
I just imagine you like he's saying this stuff and you're just like, and then you like, you know, like
pepper the mics.
I forgot how it looks. Is there like you know the jewelry like underneath
like
you
in those
on
glass cases?
Yeah, and there's like you could see through that.
Yeah,
I can just imagine you just.
I'll be right over. Oh god.
Hello. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I just thought of that.
Is mic's working? It's gonna be terrible. We'll have to cut that out.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
She's drinking water. Anyways, yeah. So people were very frustrated, but the snow got really bad, and it was like snowing pretty lightly when I went to work. And then at some point, I think I went somewhere because like from jewelry, I was like in the middle of the store, so I can't see like out. Like there's no windows or anything from my perspective. But I went somewhere, like I walked away from my department for a second, and I saw the glass door, and it was just white. Like it was blizzarding out there. I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I had no idea it was gonna snow either. I thought it was just be like a light snow. I didn't realize it was gonna be 10 inches. And then like throughout the course of the day, people were like, we should go. Like we should, because apparently the mall can close early in cases like this, and it did.
Cool.
But they have to. The 3 big stores of the mall have to agree to all close. Whoa. If one stays open, then they all have to stay open.
That's sick.
And the 3 are JCPenney, Hobby Lobby, and Dillard's. And apparently, our general manager of JCPenney does not like closing, so it's always kind of hard to get her to convince her to close. But it was bad, so we closed. She wasn't there today, but like the manager called her and was like, "Can we close?" Someone came in and I saw they had a name tag, but it wasn't one of ours, and I didn't recognize this woman. And she was looking for my like manager, and I was like, "Who is this?" And then I heard her because he was like right here talking, and she was like, "I'm general manager of Dillard's, and we were wondering if you're gonna close." And Robert's like, or the manager, the manager was like, "I just clocked out. You're gonna have to talk to the other manager."
What?
Yeah, because he had just clocked out, and I was like, "Well, that's fair enough." And so then they brought the other manager and whatever, and then like I don't know, maybe like half an hour passed, and we just everyone was like, also the business was pretty dead. I think the store made a total of a couple like thousand, like I think it was like 5,000 or like a couple $100, and jewelry itself, and I was the only jewelry person that day, made 3,000. So I made over half the sales goal, and
Hey.
it was like it was really fucking dead for the rest of the store. No one was buying clothes.
Slay.
Slay. And could you imagine though? Like, I bet there are so much more last minute shoppers. Let's cut that out. I'm sure there are many more last minute shoppers who just didn't get to last minute shop because of the storm. And they're like, well, I guess I have to find a flower.
Sorry, hun.
Sorry, hon, snow. Babe, it's snowing right now. Yeah, I know. It's crazy how the world works. Flagstaff, huh?
We're through.
This is it. We're done. But yeah, and then like I'd like, yeah, and then like maybe like 30 minutes later, because we have like our closing procedures takes like half an hour, and we have to like count diamonds to make sure that they're all accounted for. And then like around like 4:50 ish, when Andrew passes by and she's like, "Oh, Daniel, you can go ahead and start the count." And I said, "Oh yeah." So I started counting, and so we were closing the store. We decided we were going to close the store at 5:30. And so at 5:30, we got to go home. And it was fucking terrifying driving home because it was like literally peak store. I'm like, I feel like this would be safer if we just camped out in the store and waited for this to pass, but okay. And so, and yeah, and then when I went home. And then from here, I just sort of vibed. I think I played some games, drew. Yeah, sounds about right. But anyway, Valentine's Day, even though I just talked about it for like 5 minutes, was not the most important part since we last talked, or the most interesting part since we last talked. On Thursday, today's Wednesday. On Thursday, I had a day off. I went to go to my friend's house and we hung out. The three of us, three friends. I don't know if I've said their names before. I think I said Isaac's when I was making fun of his movie tastes on a Cinemas Corner. I'm sure they don't mind. my friends, Isaac and Aaron, right? And so we went to Aaron's place, and she made us dinner. It was lovely. We watched Scary Movie, I think 3. Well, I showed up like halfway through it. Anyways, irrelevant. At some point in the night, Isaac had this idea to play this game that he has. It's like a little card game, not like a card game, but it is a game involving cards. And it's called Tag, but it's not the tag that you're familiar with.
Whoa.
So basically, it's playable with up to 4 to 10 people. Now that's important. 4 to 10 people, and there was 3 of us. And the point is that there are these cards. There are target cards and there are method cards, and you have to choose a color for you have like this lanyard, like a badge.
Cool.
And you have to choose a color. I chose blue, obvi. And then everyone chooses their color, and then you get the 3 target cards of those matching colors, or however many people are playing, and you have to like shuffle them up, and everybody gets a target card, so you have a target to get. Right? And so instead of one person being in, they have to get everybody. It's each person has a target. And you have to pull a method card, which is how you have to get them out with that card. And because it was only 3 of us, Isaac was like, "Oh, well, we'll just each get 2 cards, both like for ourselves and targets, so that we each have 2 lives." And I was like, "Okay." But no, I don't know how much of a mathematician you are, Raymond, but
Not very.
the game is 4 to 10 players, and 3 is smaller than 4. And so we have to pull our cards. So there's 6 cards total, 2 for each of us. And so Aaron went first to pull 2, and then it was a classic, like, if you get your own card, put it back, whatever. And then so there was a chance. So mathematically speaking, there was a chance that we would each get one of the other players. So I would get Aaron and Isaac. Isaac would get me and Aaron would get Isaac and me. That's not what happened, because it was my turn. I'm second to pull cards, and I pull the first one. It's my card. And I say, well, I put it back. I pull the second one of Aaron's cards. I said, there we go. I put it in my hands. I grab another one. It's Aaron's card. I said, okay, here we go. And then I was like, well, and the last person left is Isaac, and he just gets the automatic 2 cards that are left. And I know he has at least one of mine, because I just pulled it and put it back. So I know he has at least one of mine. And then I'm like, wait a second. if I have two of Aaron's and Isaac has one of mine, then the other one can't be Aaron, so he has both of mine. So I just know. So now I just know who's attacking me, and who my target is, and that's like it kind of to an extent it ruins like the paranoia of everything. But I won't lie, and it's like a week-long game. It's not like we played it right then in the living room. So we've been playing it for the past few days at like work. Oh yeah, because they're my work friends. I should have said that. But and so like the next day, it was terrible. It was like really bad, like paranoia and like anxiety, and being like, when are they gonna strike and shit like that. Like I remember I told them I was like, well, I can't really do much because I'm kind of confined to my little jewelry counters. I can't like walk around the store with you guys. And I was like, but I'm gonna get some backup. And I'm gonna tell my other jewelry associate, and then I'm gonna tell my friend who works in beauty and be like, I'm gonna get them to be my accomplices and help me set up some traps. Um, and then I remember like the next day we were there and I was at my jewelry counter and I just wouldn't trust any of them. They came up to talk and I was like, what the fuck do you want? What the fuck are you doing here? And I remember like there was a shirt on the ground and I was gonna pick it up and I was like, there could be a card in there. I'm not gonna pick it up. And I just left it there. And then like and yeah, but the thing is, I shouldn't have even done that. That doesn't even matter because the thing is that when it happens, you have to be there to witness it for it to count as you getting them out. Um, I did lose one of my lives on Saturday. It was a fateful day. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. I asked for like I forgot like it was like credit apps like for people to apply for their credit for JCPenney credit card, and because we were running out of like the little applications, and I asked for more. I went over there. I said, "Can I get some receipt paper and credit apps to find jewelry, please?" And I already said his name. So Robert, our manager Robert, came over and gave me a bunch of receipt paper, and then I was like, "Thanks, Robert." And then later Isaac came and dropped a stack of credit apps. Now again, Isaac is my my attempted murderer. And so and then I didn't think much of it, and then I was like, "Cool, thanks." And then I left, and I was helping some customers, and then like maybe 30 minutes later, I moved the stack, and then I put it somewhere else, and I grabbed a couple or whatever, and then he comes back like maybe 30 minutes later, and then he's just talking, and then I grabbed the stack just like cuz, and he's like, "Ooh, that's unfortunate." And I was like, "Damn it!" I said, "Fuck you!" And he took the stack, and he like shuffled it in, and he pulled out the card, and it said they have to pick up the object with the card in it. And I was like, "That's bullshit."
That's pretty cool.
But the thing is that I didn't think much of it because honestly, I would have been a little smarter and not just picked up something that he would hand me. But it's because it happened like 30 minutes ago. I was busy with customers. And when I called, I remember Robert bringing the paper, so I thought Robert brought both of them. Like I thought he brought all of it. So I wasn't expecting it to be a trap. So that was one of my lives. And there was that. But I did get Aaron out yesterday. Because Robert came up and he was like, I need you to do this announcement over the PA like every 30 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, I won't be doing that. That's insane. And I think I did it like once, but I was genuinely freaking out because I had like a script and I was like shaking really bad. And even though I've done the PA before and I've been fine, just wasn't having it that day, yesterday. And then Aaron came in later in the day, and I was like, Robert's having me do this script. Look, this is the script he wrote, and he's like, I could change it. So here's the script I wrote, and then the card. One of the cards was they have to touch the card. So I slid it underneath the notebook, and I was like, look at the one I wrote. And then she grabbed it, and then she felt the card, and she's like, you son of a bitch. And she like slid it out, and it said player touches card. So me and Aaron are down to one life. Isaac's still sitting high and mighty at 2.
Dang.
But I think I have a plan to get Aaron out for the second one. We'll see.
What's the method? Or what's, yeah.
So they have to pass underneath the card. Like they have to like walk below it. Which is hard because the ceiling is quite high. But I'm thinking they have like these banners. I don't know how long they're going to stay up, but they have these banners that say Valentine's Day is February 14th. They've been there for like a couple weeks. And they're like, they hang pretty low. But all the ones that are in jewelry department are like behind the counters. Like at least like speaking of like vertically, right? So she can't walk underneath it because she doesn't go behind the jewelry counters. But I did notice yesterday that there was one in JCPenney Beauty. So if I can go up to my friend and be like, hey, you mind taping this taping this card up there and getting Aaron to walk underneath it somehow. So that's the plan so far. I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll see.
You won't see it.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like how. But the problem is, are we gonna get them to walk underneath it?
And you're just like, hey, can I have a question?
But she's like a random. How would she be able to help?
Wait, what is her job?
Exactly. She's basically like what's called recovery. She just kind of like wanders the store and like cleans things up. She usually has tasks like putting out shoes.
I got a spill over here, pal.
She's not the maintenance worker, no. I meant cleaning up, like tidying like shirts and shit.
Just dirty up the counter. Or like,
But that would be Beauty's job. And then if I dirty up my counter, then that would be my job. That's my point. There's not a lot of overlap.
I don't know what she does then.
Jesus Christ.
What's your animal?
Oh, okay. Am I first?
I forgot. Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot we were doing a Critters Corner.
Yeah. That's like I always say, born to have a podcast, forced to talk about animals.
Not everybody can podcast, but not everybody can pivot. I'm pretty sure we'll get...
My animal is the blue dragon. More officially known as the blue glaucus.
This isn't the cryptids corner, Dan.
Otherwise known as the blue glaucus. And I know what you're thinking. What the hell is a blue glaucus? It's a small blue sea slug. They are pelagic, which I know what you're thinking. What does that word even mean, Dan? And when I looked it up, it says relating to the open sea. So I'm not entirely sure still. And they're pretty small guys. They're these tiny little sea slugs. They can grow up to 1.2 inches long. What are you doing on your phone? This is a podcast.
I'm looking up the blue
glaucus. Just put a blue dragon. They kind of look like a real life, un poco scary version of Kyogre from Pokemon. Is that how you say his name? You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
But yeah, so they're these small little guys. They float upside down.
Interesting.
They float upside down by using the surface tension of the water to stay up, where they are then carried away by winds and ocean currents. So as far as I can tell, they don't actually like swim. They just sort of vibe, and then maybe they can like kind of move themselves, but they sort of, for the most part, their migration relies on like winds and sea currents to just like take them places. And so this animal is a blue color. It's a very cool shade of blue, but it's more than just for show and beauty. What do you think they use the blue for, evolutionarily speaking?
I feel like it'd be the opposite, because isn't there like not a lot of blue in nature?
Yes. It's just you're looking at a clip art of a blue dragon.
No,
hey,
that's
sir.
Look.
Sir.
Thank you. Oh, I'm scrolling through, and then that one just pops up. That's awesome.
So the animal's blue color is just for show, or more. It's more than just for show. Jesus Christ. The sea slug uses its hue.
That's a slug?
I've literally said that multiple times.
Yeah, I just didn't. It looks like a fish.
The first thing I said was a small blue sea slug.
I know, but
literally one of the first things I said was a small blue sea slug. The sea slug uses its hue to its advantage as it floats on the ocean surface. Its cyanic side faces upward to camouflage it against the sea's blue color. Did you hear that?
No, I'm looking at Pepper. She's strapped.
Strapped for what? Oh,
it looks like
yes, sir.
It looks like Chewie's thing. What it was?
Oh yeah, like a little like bullet thing.
Yeah. Anyway,
get up here before you ruin this podcast. Not that we already haven't. The cyanic side faces upward to camouflage it against the sea's blue color.
Oh.
While the silver side below faces downward to camouflage it against the water's bright surface.
Like a shark.
Yeah, so it's got a deeper blue at the top, so that when you look into the water, you don't see it. And when you're below it, you look up and you see kind of like a nice light color that's like the light coming through. So it's a pretty cool camouflage.
That's sick.
And it's pretty much virtually invisible to predators from both above and below. Now here's the reason I found this. I was watching TikTok, and it was just a little it looked like a puddle full of these guys, and this person just stuck their hand in there, and then someone reacted and it was like, "You should not do that." And I was like, "Why? These guys look like friendly little guys."
Oh,
apparently it's got an insanely terrible sting. Not enough to kill you, but it's been described as excruciatingly painful. And but here's the coolest part when I did this research. The slug is not venomous on its own. So it doesn't necessarily have a sting on its own, like naturally speaking. It stores the stinging nematocysts, which is like stinging cells, that is created by its prey. So including venomous siphonophores and Portuguese man o' wars. Those are like very not poisonous, venomous like sea creatures, right? They devour venomous animals that have stings, and then when they like consume it and they like make it an energy, they keep the cells that make those ones. Honestly, yeah, kind of. They keep the cells that make those ones sting, so that when you touch them, it releases all the ones that it has stored up.
Guess what?
Release the floodgates. Ow! 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 God! Ah! Yeah, so that's why the guy just like put his hand in there. Everyone was like,
I didn't know sea creatures could be venomous.
"What do you fucking mean?
Like
a jellyfish?"
I know. Oh, I never considered that venom. I just thought like stung you.
I didn't read it, to be fair, but like I mean reading it, I'm like, okay, yes, it makes sense. But yeah, it's venom.
Interesting.
And yeah, so the cells are stored and concentrated so that when it's touched, the dragon can release them to pack one of the most devastating punches in nature.
Cool.
So that's pretty freaking sick.
Yeah.
That's that's just genuinely like really cool. I don't know animals could do that. The animal kingdom's amazing.
I know.
But also their venom remains active after death. So if you see one like dead on the beach, just leave it alone. Just don't
you
touch
can just
it.
touch it. Oh!
Hey, look at the...
From the grave, they kill you.
Apparently it's not fatal from what I can tell, but if you get stung, it'll hurt like a bitch. You're gonna want to go to the hospital.
Oh man, does it leave a mark?
Let's hope so, because I would be pissed if I had nothing to prove that I touched one of these. You know, I would love like a cool scar,
like Indiana Jones, like the mark on his skin. Dude, I would like to touch that.
Touch what?
You remember the bad guy, like the guy with the glasses? He like touches the medallion.
Oh yeah.
And and he has it on his hand. I would just like to touch like the folds in between that.
That would be nice. They form groups called blue fleets, so like they move in groups, and they also move. They float among the siphonophores that they eat, so they kind of chill with their prey, which is kind of fucked up. Sir. Pepper, you're a gentleman and a scholar. All blue dragons are hermaphrodites. Remember what that means?
Sounds cool. This is a podcast.
People want to hear that. They're hermaphrodites, meaning that they have both male and female reproductive organs.
Oh, that's right. Nemo.
I'm gonna get a little graphic here, so bear with me. When two blue dragons mate, they engage carefully with long, curved, almost S-shaped bends in their penises. Their long anatomy keeps them from being stung by their partner. So they have to like really mess up the curvature of their body so that they don't sting each other when they're in the act, which is very funny to me. And this is also a badass thing that these guys do. This mating results in strings of 20 eggs, right? 20 eggs that the slug lays on either floating objects such as driftwood, because they're floaters. They don't have like homes. So where do they lay their eggs?
These suckers up again, man.
They lay their eggs on driftwood, like pieces that are just floating, or the floating carcasses of their prey. Oh. So sometimes they'll eat a motherfucker, leave a little bit, poop out some eggs on them, and eventually the babies will be born on top of their victims.
What a baller move.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. These things exist. Oh.
Climate change is their biggest threat.
Oh.
What?
Small suckers.
Yeah, they're fucking tiny. I said that you're up to 1 inch long.
I don't know why this makes it look like a fish size.
Yeah, no, it makes it look like big. If that was huge, like regarding like even if it didn't have any venomous,
we'd be dead.
I'd be dead. Yeah. Just showed like a picture of like Dungeons and Dragons art or some shit.
These are cool.
Yeah, climate change is their biggest threat because they don't really have a lot of natural predators.
Dragons.
And the warming of the waters combined with increased storm activity in recent years due to climate change has resulted in them floating farther and into different coastlines. So they're kind of like spreading just because they just vibe. And so now that climate change is happening, water's getting warmer. There's more storms. Hi. So, for example, researchers revised the range of blue dragons 93 miles farther north into the Bay of California, which I don't know what it is. I know is that like we're between Mexico and Baja California? I don't know. After fishers netted them as part of their catch in 2015. In 2017, they were spotted in the waters of Taiwan. In May 2020, they surprised beachgoers in South Padre Island, Texas, and then again in Cape Town, South Africa, in November of that same year. So they found them in, I'm going to go ahead and assume somewhere in California, in Taiwan, Texas, and South Africa. God. Pepper. What the? Pepper, why are you so active today? You're messing up the production value. Production is awful. Won't get more than 10 likes. But yeah, they're fucking all over the place, just because water takes them where they want to go.
So they can't swim?
None of the research I shows proves anything that they can swim, but I'm assuming they have to. So I'm assuming they have to at least a little bit to be able to like get a prey. You know what I mean? Like to catch a prey.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh man.
Yeah. I just imagine like Emperor Palpatine, like unlimited power.
I imagine like they're just like floating like that way. And then my hands is this horizontally?
Yeah.
And then they kind of like bare chest it up to where they get vertical.
Like just like out of their chest.
Like Iron Man.
Yeah. Like a repulsor. That'd be fucking awesome.
And now they're dead.
And now they're
That's
dead.
interesting. They look like little chubby suckers.
They do. Some of them look pretty cute. Some of them look like badass
Yeah.
and cool. Some of them look kind of cute. But yeah, if you I'm not gonna guarantee that I'm gonna put a picture up because I don't like editing these. But if I do, and if not, go ahead and look it up. Just look up Blue Dragon or Blue Glaucus. Get Glaucus. Glaucus.
Interesting. Well, how do you know when one's charged like that? Or
I don't
do
think
you just
do.
not know?
I think you just gotta pray
That's
to God.
cool.
Could you imagine like I don't know if it's like if they release all of them at once or they can like be like, okay, you're gonna get a little bit. But if it was like all at once, that'd be fucking
I like
awesome.
you.
Because could you imagine like let's say we're on a beach trip and we accidentally touch one of us. Maybe Jacob skipped out on this episode of the cast and he didn't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And he goes like, ah! And he's like, dude, that hurts. Check it out. And then we touch it. We just don't feel anything. It's like there's no more like cells in there. What are you talking about? Dude, just like poking it. Dude, this thing's fine. Just like stabbing on it. Dude, it's fine. I imagine they feel like they'd be like kind of gummy. I mean, they're slugs.
Yeah. That's crazy. It didn't look like a slug.
I would love to touch one though, not to get stung, but like that's such a cruel. What a cruel thing God has done to us.
What?
I want to touch them, but they would kill me. They wouldn't kill me, but they would make me excruciatingly painful. It's like the forbidden fruit. Like, and now I understand. Now I'm in the place of Adam. I'm an Adam of Eve in that garden, but it's instead of a garden, it's a puddle, and instead of the forbidden fruit, it's a tiny little sea slug that would make me send me to the hospital.
Backyard looked like the Garden of Eden.
Is that why you were quiet for so long?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just remember that. I sang that earlier today because it was a Drake song, but
You're a big Drake head.
no, I literally just
You have provided. You say that a lot. You say you're not a Drake head, but you have provided zero evidence to how you're not a Drake head. Because as far as I'm concerned,
I don't know his discography.
As far as
I listen to like 3 or 4 songs.
Listen to Drake, which makes you a Drake head.
What?
Listening to an artist makes you that artist.
Fine.
A fan of that artist.
I'm Drake.
I'm basically Drake.
You say because you're what did you say?
A lot of critics are saying that I'm basically Drake. What happened?
You said listen to that artist makes you that artist. So I was like, I'm Drake.
Oh, I meant to say that. That makes me an artist fan.
But I just wanted to catch.
Oh, so I'm Drake. I'm basically Drake. God's plan.
That's what someone's new name should be.
What, basically Drake?
Yeah, it's like a parody, like not Starbucks. What was it?
Dumb Starbucks.
It's basically Drake.
Basically Drake.
I'm just like, yeah.
It's all just covers of Drake songs though.
There was I think he was on Jack Harlow's. I think it was a feature he was on. It was Churchill Downs, and Jack Harlow, he had to add more bars because Drake apparently killed him, and he's like, I gotta add more bars. This is my song, and apparently Drake come up with his whole thing like in 11 minutes.
Damn.
Now I don't know how a bar is like a bar, like in terms of like rappers like, oh man, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to look for in that.
He really did that.
But he starts. He's like, yeah. It's like, Drake's coming on, and then you hear, like, he sniffs. And I'm like, I've never heard a rapper sniff before they like get into like a verse like that.
That's awesome.
I know. I was like, it's crazy.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just noticing we have a mirror set up behind the camera so we can see when it stops recording because it cut off last episode. And I'm realizing we didn't do anything for like a lighting setup, so you're just in the shadow of this arcade cabinet. We'll be fine. This is a professional podcast.
What was
We'll get it right next season.
Blue Skills, Blue Dragons.
Blue Dragons.
So it's evolution that they do that? They didn't start off like that?
I mean, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, everything's evolution. I don't really know how things work.
That's crazy.
I think what's the oldest animal we've done? I mean, we definitely did one. One of us did one that was like,
what?
Like been around since dinosaur times. What was it?
It was well, I just did sea turtles, but one of them was, I forgot.
Oh, that's right. One of them was.
I think it was a leatherback.
That sounds right.
Which is the one most, I mean, we didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I thought after doing this podcast, I would like retain a lot of this knowledge.
Oh,
I don't at all.
It's in here. At least the ones I've done, because I read the things over and over again.
Yeah.
Pepper, you can't go out there.
You know what we should do?
The snow's as tall as you.
We should get some of our devoted fans, like Jacob, or Slipknot Boom, Gabe and Watch, Escalators. We should get them on. We should do a video where we do like a Kahoot based off of like things that we like, just like random animal facts, and see if they've been paying attention.
Boom, boom, boom. I played Kahoot earlier. It was terrible. Apparently, a bunch of people know about art. Like Renaissance. Like,
Oh.
who painted this painting?
Rococo.
I don't know if that was a name, but
That was an era of like
oh, yeah. And they're like, what era is this one from? And I'm just like,
old.
and Chandler, he took like a AP like art class in high
AP
school,
art history.
and I'm just like,
Jason took one of those.
but he's like, he retained everything. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, bro,
I
don't
wonder
know
if
any of
Jason
this.
retained any of that. Escalators, hit us up. I know that. I remember when they were studying for that. I remember they had like their little binder, and they're like studying during lunch, and they're like, look at the sculpture, and it was straight up just a toilet. And I said, that's art, baby.
That's funny.
That's art. No, like not even joking. Like not even like it was a toilet. I think they like spray painted it. Well, this is something to it. I think. Look at this art.
Sculpture.
Look at the sculpture. I did this.
That's a
Man, that's a toilet. Is that the one that we were missing in our public bathroom? The women's bathroom is missing a toilet, ma'am. This is a podcast. We have to be talking.
There was another Kahoot. Oh, it was I think Arabic language, and trying to guess the words based off.
Why were you doing these Kahoots? What's happening?
There was a crisis apparently on one of the films, and so Bill had to take care of that, and we're in the manager meeting.
Oh,
So to pass time,
that's funny. It's just like random,
just random Kahoots.
That's funny.
It was a Spanish one.
Earlier,
Did not win.
earlier last month, January, our friend whose birthday was in January, that wasn't you. They did. She did a Kahoot based off of like her, like questions about her for her birthday, and we did it over Discord. That was pretty funny. I might do one of those for my birthday. That was pretty fun. And then after that, me. And then after that, I think it was me. I think the people who played was me, Slipknot, Boom, and Escalators. And I forgot. I know I won, but I don't know who was last. I think maybe Escalators, maybe I don't know. Doesn't matter. After that, we just did like random Kahoots, and I'm not gonna lie, pretty embarrassing. Jason wiped the floor with me on a Spider-Man Kahoot. I was devastated. I said, oh, you can't do this to me. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
Do you know how much I sacrificed?
Yeah, Kahoots are fun. I hadn't done one since like school times.
Hell yeah.
You know what I haven't done since school times? Jackbox party packs. Like remember used to do those over the internet, like over like
Do them.
we did them like a month ago. Yeah, but I mean like remember we used to do them like every week
No.
when the pandemic hit.
Like over Zoom?
Yeah.
Discord, yeah.
Exactly. We did it over. Yeah,
Those are
Zoom.
fun.
It was Zoom. We should
Yeah.
do that again. I mean, yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. That was when that's when I first played the rapping game with you guys, and that was
Yeah,
lit.
that
That was
was
awesome.
That was good. That was good. Anyways, what's your animal?
My animal. I'm very hyped for this animal.
I know you built this one up.
All I'll say is,
Let's see if it's hype or not hype.
I mean, you probably won't think it is, but I still love
This is a
animal.
new segment we're calling hype or not hype.
Nope or dope. I'm just kidding. That's trademarked.
I know. I don't know about who, but I've heard that before.
Caca! That's my
The
hint.
Eagles?
No.
The Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh, that would have been
topical. Go Super Bowl.
It's over. Go Super Bowl.
Go Super Bowl.
Go Rihanna.
Go Riri.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Thanks.
That's my hint.
What's your hint?
Caca!
Oh. I mean, a lot of birds do that. But okay, here we go. Okay, let me guess. This is a fun game. So you told me earlier. you told me earlier this might be top 10 animals.
Oh, it is.
And so it's a bird.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Albatross is already up there.
Yeah, I was just already up there. So I have to think what bird would A, make that sound, and B, be worthy of being on Raymond's top 10. I'm gonna have to go messenger pigeon.
It's a crow.
Oh, really? Top 10?
Yeah.
Crows are pretty cool.
They're smart suckers. I'll get into that, but they're also known
What's the
as...
difference between a crow and a raven? A lot of scientists don't know that. A lot of people are saying that we're not sure.
What?
I don't know the difference. Do you know the difference?
I mean, I see crows out here all the time.
How do you know they're not ravens?
Because they look like crows.
But what does a raven look like? They're just black birds. It's just seem like a crow. What's the difference?
Death comes by whenever you see a raven.
No, that's
I'm
a
just
crow.
kidding. That was a joke.
You're stupid.
Was it a
Quoth
raven?
the raven.
Was it a
Nevermore.
raven at a... What the hell are you on?
That's from Edgar Allan Poe. The famous poem, The Raven.
I'm not reading that.
Then came a rapping at my chamber door. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
I only remember Telltale Heart. That kind of
That
scared
one's
me.
good, though.
Yeah.
I don't remember like any of the lines, but the story is good.
I remember reading it like before I went to bed, like because of Mr. Costello's class, and I was like, "What the hell, man?" And I'm just like looking at the door.
That's funny. I think I reference that quite.
Keeping the light
Sometimes
on.
I reference that a bit, within the floorboards. It's like just like him just being like, "Damn it, fine," and he just like rips open. This is the corpse. That's awesome. Anyways, tell me about these fucking crows.
So, also known as corvids, this family of birds includes not just crows, but ravens, rooks, jays, jackdaws, magpies, tree pies, nutcrackers, and coes. Now these
Nutcrackers.
besides ravens, the other ones don't look like crows or ravens. They're color animals, or they have colorful. They're not just black animals. So they range from the 1-ounce dwarf jay, a small forest bird only found in Mexico, to the 3-pound common raven, found in the northern hemisphere. Now corvids are incredibly clever, and the largest brain to body size ratio of any bird. So bigger than an albatross.
Largest brain to body size?
Yes.
Which does that mean that's got the biggest brain of any bird, or does?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but those in the genus Corvus tend
Yes.
to especially be brainy. And this genus includes crows, ravens, rooks, jackdaws, so not the other ones, accounting for a third of all corvid species. Now, many of these brain to body size ratio, you'd expect from an ape, not a bird. Like big brains.
Huge
But in
brains.
fact, according to a study, I'm not going to name the journal because I cut out a lot of like
they don't need free
journals.
Free publicity.
The crow brain is relative to the size of a chimpanzee brain. Mm-hmm. Now, chimpanzees, they're
famously smart.
Oh,
they have religions now.
Bigger than crows. What?
I don't know about chimpanzees, but there were studies that showed, there was research that showed that monkeys were exhibiting behaviors similar to that of worship, and they would come to gather at holy places or places that like basically their behavior was like they would come to gather at these places that weren't like their homes or anything, and they would like do these like little rituals. Like they would have like the set motions that they would go through, and it was like, and the people were like, I think they're getting a religion.
Have you ever done that?
What? I don't even know what you motioned.
Oh, like giving the body of Christ through the tongue instead of your hands. Oh,
yeah. That's how you were supposed to do it. That's what they would tell you. That's the right way to do it.
I was indoctrinated this way.
And then as a kid, I was like, I don't want no old man fingers in my mouth. And to this day, I don't want no old man fingers.
Nothing's changed.
Some things stay the same.
If it ain't broke, I'm just kidding. Humans have long recognized the craftiness of crows and ravens, as seen in centuries of folklore, casting the birds as thieves, tricksters, problem solvers, wise advisors to the gods, or even deities themselves. Is that a god, right?
Deities, yeah.
Yeah, okay, damn. Yet, we also tend to stereotype these birds, overlooking many of their complexities to brand them as spooky, troublesome, or outright nefarious. Like Dr. Nefario.
Like Dr. Nefario.
That's immediately where my brain went.
Obviously.
Fortunately, our appreciation for their intelligence has soared in recent years, thanks to research about their brain power. Now, corvids have shrewd ways. Crows, they're part of that family.
Yeah.
They have shrewd ways to get food. They're shrewd operators. So, they're creative MFs.
Smooth operator.
So sometimes they bait fishes to. That's a solid song.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I remember listening to it like in high school, and I was like, "This is a good song."
Do you? Why do you think Gru's name is Gru? Because Dr. Nefario is because nefarious. They're villains. You think Gru's named after like gruesome? Why do you think his name is Gru?
Because his heart grew 10 sizes.
Man, his heart grew 10 sizes that day he adopted those kids. This rainy day. What you looking up there? You looking up canon Gru full name? Canonical Gru name?
The name of the protagonist Gru seems
Why
to
is
be
he
taken
called Gru?
from the Russian military agency GRU. It's an acronym for something I'm not going to say. Just because I can't say it.
Why is he called Gru? Because of a Russian organization?
A military agency, yeah.
What? Is that canon? Is that actual?
Despicable Me Trivia, IMDb.
Damn.
No, it's not even his real name. That's his last name.
Gru is his last name?
His name's Felonous. Wait.
Felonous Gru. See, felonious like felony.
Felonious.
A felonious.
Oh, there you go. I can't read.
Like felony. So he does have a pun in his name.
Okay. I didn't
Why is he
know
called
his last name. Why is he called Drew?
There's a new segment on the show. Why is he called Brew?
Is that like a one?
It's a one shot for sure.
Yeah. Pepper just
Sir?
walked off the set. Now, I've seen a video of a crow. Like it has, I don't know what it's like bait. I don't know what it's like bread or some other food, and they like put it near the water. Like they're hovering. Say it's like a dock. Say we're on a dock, and then where are you going?
You talking?
So say we're on a dock, and on that dock there's a little crow, and that crow has like bread or some other fish or food in there, and they kind of linger their beak near the waters, the shallow waters there, and they're like reaching whatever, and they kind of pull it back. They reach in, they pull it back, and then they like drop it in the water, and then here comes a fish to grab that little thing, and then boom, that fish is a goner, and the crow's eating the fish, or is taking it captive. So these are smart freaking birds, and they're shrewd to get their food. They also steal from other animals.
My hair was getting in my way.
They also steal from other animals, sometimes even secretly following their victims back to the nests.
Damn.
So in one case, a group of American crows was seen distracting a river otter so they could steal its fish, while the other group followed common Marangsners, some bird, I don't know what it is, to intercept ducks that have been chasing. I don't know. They do stuff.
Yes.
They also drop snails or hard shells from far. They don't do it to kill.
Yeah. That's funny though.
Wait, hold on. Using gravity to do the hard work for them. You know,
yeah.
Spit them open. They actually took this a step further. So Japanese crows, or crows in Japan.
They took this one step further. They did it again, but better.
So they put walnuts on the roads so that the cars will crush them, and they wait for the light to turn so they can go back and retrieve.
Whoa!
Smart MF.
Those
bro.
guys are smart. That's crazy.
Japanese crows go hard, bro.
I mean, I knew they were smart. I didn't know
Open
they were
nut.
that smart. Japanese girls go hard. Open nut. What does that even mean?
What's it? Well, all I read was then. What the sentence says is then wait for the traffic light to change so they can safely collect the open nut. I just read open nut.
Open nut. If your rap name is Tough Crust, I think mine's Open Nut.
This is my animal.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. You can take it.
I wasn't gonna. Your animal, I don't care for. Open Nut though.
What does it mean though? Mine makes sense for me.
Tough Crust.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Because I used to eat pizza all the time.
That's not why we called you that.
I don't remember why we called me that.
Well, because we
I know Nathan came.
We did. I don't know why, but our friend group would just do a bit where we would like devolve our names, like
Runyon.
Yeah, exactly. You became
Runyon Crust.
Is Runyon Crust was your game. So and then Christian one of our Christians called you Tough Crust.
Yeah,
as your rep name because your last name was Crust.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. I can't believe you thought it was because you ate so much pizza.
I didn't know because there's crust on pizza. I don't remember.
Sometimes pizza does have pretty tough crust.
Ooh, that's true. That's a bar right there.
That's a bar.
I think I'll take that for my first album.
Yeah,
No, that'll be like the subtitle of the album. Wait, albums don't do that, right?
I mean, you can if you want.
Oh.
Some pizzas. You know, you can do like what people do, like albums. They have like interludes in between.
Like the 30 seconds?
Yeah. Just put like, or you just, hear me out, or you just start a song with like the snippet of us saying that on the podcast. And then like edit it in like a sample, and you know what I mean?
And then I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah,
That's circular story. We're bringing it back, bro.
To like 5 minutes ago. See a little bit of circles in between.
So crows don't just use tools.
Keep going.
They make them.
Cow tools.
So, in the early 1960s, primatologist Jane Goodall, I'm pretty sure we all know who that is.
We all know Jane Goodall.
Discovered chimpanzees use twigs to catch termites, debunking the idea that humans are the only tool-using species. Tool use does require a certain level of cognitive sophistication, but we now know lots of other animals use tools in the wild, not just our fellow primates. In fact, the most studied examples of non-primate tool use, this is such a long thing, comes from a corvid, the New Caledonian crow. Now, many corvids use tools, but this specific crow species are especially advanced. So they use sticks, like chimps or other plant matter, to fish insects out of crevices. Now that alone is impressive.
That alone
Especially
is
without
awesome
hands.
sauce.
They got them feathers.
Yeah.
Or those wings, whatever. But it's...
Hold on.
What?
Do you think they're grabbing the sticks with wings?
I think it's what they're...
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to tell me that they grab their wing and like ring it around and like a fucking cartoon. Like in Rio where like their feathers are like their fingers.
Rio. 5. I just remember like one of them did like...
Yeah. I just remember they do... Anyways, go on.
In addition to choosing tools that are naturally well-shaped for a particular task, the New Caledonian crows also manufacture tools in the wild, which is much rarer than using just found objects like some chimp.
Mm.
This ranges from trimming leaves off a stick, creating their own hook shape from twigs, leaves, and thorns. And in controlled experiments, the crows have also bent pliable materials into hooked tools and even shown spontaneous metatool use, which is the ability to use one tool on another. And they explain more metatool stuff, but honestly, it's confusing.
Yeah, we don't need all that.
It's just they keep saying metatool, and I'm just like,
So it's a tool that's used on another tool?
Yeah, the ability to use one tool on
meta.
another. So they've used a short stick to reach a longer stick that can reach a reward, for example. But they also made new compound tools from one or more otherwise non-functional elements.
Damn.
So these are smart birds.
These are smart birds.
And that requires imagining what a tool will do before it exists. So despite having never seen such a tool before, then making it exist and using it.
Damn, that's a good point.
Smart birds.
Smart birds, bro.
These birds are smart. They could also solve puzzles.
These birds?
On par with human kids.
Really?
Yeah. There was one study, but they mentioned like the...
Maybe if you were a kid, I could beat the shit out of those crows. Intellectually speaking, when I was 3. I didn't need preschool to beat these crows.
Crows demand respect, damn it.
I respect them. But I tower over them intellectually speaking.
I don't think so. Could you do that?
Do what?
When you were 3 years old, put a walnut in the tractor and then wait for the light to turn green or turn red. So
I could have, but I would have gotten run over by a car.
See, you would have, but a crow wouldn't have. They're smart.
They can fly.
Smart.
If I could fly at 3 years old, I would have done it fine.
That's not my problem.
Also, I can't chew a nut even if it's cracked.
That's your fault. That's not the crow's fault.
It's not. I'm not saying it. I'm saying it's
smart
not.
birds,
I'm saying
bro.
It's apples to oranges, bro.
I know what that means, bro. Yeah. That's a fact right there, bro. Anyway, in Aesop's fables, the crow and the pitcher. That's what it's called. A thirsty crow encounters a pitcher with a little water in it, but it initially is thwarted by the low water level and the bottle's narrow neck. So the crow starts dropping pebbles into the pitcher, and that eventually rises the water for it to drink it. Smart crows. Now, granted, you're saying that's a fable. That's not real. I'm just saying these people are thinking it. So not only has research verified that crows can do this, but it shows...
if I was a kid and I saw a picture, I would just pick it up and...
Okay, so if there's a car coming down the freeway...
Yeah. I get hit because I can't do anything because babies are stupid.
A crow can fly away.
The thing is, intellectually... Here's the difference. Intellectually, I see this car coming, I'm 3 years old. I'm thinking, that's not good for me, my health. Hit. No, here's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting on this intersection, right? I'm seeing this Ford F-150 coming at me. I'm 3 years old. In my head, I'm like, this isn't good for my health. This is going to be bad. But my body can't do anything because I'm a baby. Crows, they had intellectual like, this is good. This is bad, so I'm going to go. That's the difference. My intellect is so grand, it's being held back by smart. This. Exactly. My intellect is grand, but as a 3-year-old, I was being held back by my own mortal coil.
That's your fault.
This flesh prison of mine. That's not my fault.
Think better.
How is that my fault?
Not only has research verified crows can do this, but it shows that they can pass water displacement tests at a very similar level to human children between the ages of 5 and 7. I just realized I wasn't 3 years old, like you said. So they've conquered a variety of other convoluted tests too. They gave one example, but you look at me like that. They like reference like the thing, and I just didn't want to like cut out their parts because it like woves in with the sentence. Like, oh, this study said. Well,
I'd like to see a crow get the Excellency and Achievement in Math Award 4 years in a row at high school. I'd like to see a crow do that.
It says between the ages of 5 and 7, not a high schooler.
Yeah, well, they should be smarter. They should get smarter. Can they do basic arithmetic?
What? You're just... I did not expect Mr. Envy to show up today.
Mr. Envy? You think I'm envious of these birds?
Oh, hell
I'm telling you that I'm better than these birds. I don't envy these birds in the slightest.
You're saying that?
I can open a nut right now with... I don't need a car or no stoplights or nothing. I'm not envious of shit. I tower over these birds in every possible
See,
way.
I hear you. What's coming out is you can tower over them. Subtextually, what you're saying is I'm
You're
envious of them.
insecure.
Yes. You're envious, and that comes from your insecurity.
Of birds?
I don't know what it is. This is a good story we're developing here.
There's no story.
I'm gonna steal it.
Okay. That's
just,
fine.
Just out of jealous practice. Actually,
there's not much.
A lot of it in Frasier. I want to do it. Anyway,
really, I see a lot of it in your day-to-day life.
I don't recall it. Like I can just watch Frasier and I'm like, oh, he's jealous. But I can't recall that when I'm like writing like my experience like that.
Recall what?
Just like what I say when I'm jealous. Like what I say out loud, but what I actually mean inside.
Oh.
I can't recall that, but in Frasier I'm just like, oh, he's jealous. I'm like, okay, why that is.
But you're the one that said it. Why can't you recall it?
Because in Frasier it's like set up that he's jealous. And then they can build off
but you said it in your life.
I know, but I just can't remember it. Like, I can't remember specific. I can remember being jealous of this person. I don't remember what I said.
Okay.
About them.
I remember what you said.
All right, well, I can't ask you. Crows have conquered a very... Oh, I already said that. Yeah, sub-goals, whatever the heck. They hold funerals for their dead.
Damn. That's real.
I know. And then this one person was saying, oh, it may be like a survival thing to, like, see, like, the dead bird... Be like, oh, how did this happen to them so we can learn from it? Mm-hmm. I'd rather choose to see that they're mourning the
I just
loss of a loved
one. It's a ritual.
Yeah, so they hold funeral. Apparently, they're famous for it. I did not know that. Did you know that?
No.
Interesting. So
I didn't know those guys can open nuts.
So it might be a lone individual or a group of crows that mourn, known as a murder.
A murder of crows, yeah.
That's crazy cool. But in some cases, they may keep a vigil for a fallen bird, over the fallen bird for day's end. So like Jazz. Think Jazz from Transformers. But could they really be mourning?
You want a piece of me?
This person called it danger learning and stuff like that. But I'd rather see it as the mourning the loss of a fallen crow, a fallen bird. As a fallen bird. And crows gossip. They hold grudges. Ooh. And they know who you are. So several kinds of corvids have demonstrated a knack for recognizing human faces. Magpies and ravens, for example, are both known to scold specific researchers who have gotten closer to the nest in the past, regardless of what the researchers wear. So, like their faces, they recognize. Crows seem to hold grudges against specific people who netted and banded them for research. And
fix your car, man.
What if it was one of ours?
Yeah, our car's getting broken into. We're recording a podcast.
Jokes on them. My tire pressure is low. Researchers began wearing.
That's awesome.
That'd be a good episode of something. Like some guy steals a car.
My tire pressure's low.
Tire pressure's low.
That would be good with like Jacob's car. Like the fact that that shit's barely operating. My car got throwing jokes on them though. That shit can't even run on its own.
I'd be better on foot. Researchers began wearing a rubber caveman mask when they did this research to test this theory here, which revealed how the crows were identifying their enemies. They scolded and mobbed anyone who wore the caveman mask, regardless of who was actually underneath. In later tests, researchers achieved a similar effect by wearing masks while holding a dead taxidermied crow.
That's fucked up.
I know, it's messed up. When I read taxidermied, I forgot taxidermied's like a dead crow that they stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a fake toy crow. So that's messed up. Which resulted in crows pestering future wearers of the same masks. Not a whole lot mattered, it seemed, except the face of the mask. So lots of other animals can recognize human faces. Obviously, our dogs when they see us.
Yeah.
But crows still stand apart, both for the length of their memories and for how they share information amongst themselves. So years after the study began, crows continued to harass the banding masks. And even though they see it only twice a year for a few hours at a time when they do research, but this animosity isn't just from crows who saw the original banding event. The percentage of birds scolding and mobbing the caveman mask grew over time, roughly doubling within 7 years, even though most of the birds had never even seen the banded, the masks, and were likely never personally witnessing to the mask doing anything offensive.
Yeah.
So some young crows who were not born yet when the study began to hold grudges.
That's crazy.
And so the crows apparently transmitting important information, identifying a seemingly dangerous person to their families and companions.
That's so cool.
That's
like
smart.
That's like I just like they're telling like little. Like, it's like they're telling fairy tales. You know, like kids or parents will tell their kids
Around the
like
campfire.
yeah, or they'll be like don't do this or El Chupacabra will get you. Things like that. They're like don't do this or the big caveman guy will get you.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. Another Aesop.
How does that apply in this scenario?
Well, just like watch out for the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Who's the wolf in sheep's clothing in this scenario?
Do you not know the fable?
I do, but who's the wolf in the sheep's clothing?
The caveman.
Is the caveman doing good things?
No.
Then what's the sheep's clothing?
Well, I don't remember the fable. I just remember that phrase.
But like, the phrase gives it away. It's someone who's evil, but the sheep's clothing is that they disguise themselves as a friend.
Yeah, this probably still applies.
But the caveman's a
Crows have dialects.
It's a wolf in wolf's clothing.
You're familiar with the crow's cacaw?
It's the wolf in wolf's clothing.
You're familiar with the crow's cacaw?
I'm familiar with the wolf's cacaw.
So, but their sounds actually have dialects, those cacaws. So similar to humans, whose language can vary from region to region, crows have a deviation in their aviation language.
Ooh, that's fire right there, bro.
I know, I should start a rap career. Between two populations of crows. So the sounds vary regionally, like human dialects vary from valley to valley. I don't know why they didn't say like Russia and in Mexico. And should a crow change its crowd, it'll adapt the noises to fit with the new group. So if it joins a new flock, they'll learn the flock's dialect, mimicking the calls of the dominant flock members.
That's funny. I know there's a lot of animals that like that. I have like accents, but it's just so funny to imagine like a crow and another crow, and then like a crow. It's like, what?
What do you want, bro?
What the fuck are you saying?
Oh, I'm a New Caledonian crow.
Oh,
I'm a Japanese crow.
Right.
So crows mate for life, but they're also monogamish.
Monogamish?
Crows are not only social birds, but they're more family-oriented than people realize. So they mate for life. So they stay together. But their family lives may also be a little bit more complicated than that suggests, being a family man. Crows are monogamish. So they're considered socially monogamous, but genetically promiscuous.
Ooh.
Promiscuous girl. This means they
Promiscuous
generally
girl.
stay with one partner for life, but genetic analysis shows that male crows only father about 80% of their family's offspring. So some crows lead a double life, splitting time between their families and the big communal roosts. So American crows maintain a territory year-round, for example, where the entire extended family lives and forages together. But during much of the year, individual crows leave the home territory to join flocks at dumps and agricultural fields, and to sleep in large roosts in the winter. So they don't stay together in the crowd, even though they go together.
Mm-hmm.
And a crow may spend part of the day with its family in the town, and then rest with the flock on feeding waste in the country. I just think that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Like, I'll see you later, hon.
It's okay. All right. It's just really crazy how all animals have like, or no, I guess not all, because we've seen a couple that it's like fuck them kids. like it's just crazy how animals develop like cultures around their families and stuff.
Yeah. It's cool. Crows are cool. Young crows may stay home to help. Serve as helpers. We don't need to get into this because it's a lot.
Yeah, who cares?
That's really boring to me.
That's just really.
But they can like choose like at a certain age like whether to go out and then make their own family or to stay behind and like help the mom make a new batch of birds. And they usually some stay.
New batch of children.
And so crows are intelligent, as we've said, but they're not invincible. So it's common for people to vilify crows, often focusing on unwanted behavior, but overlooking more relatable and redeeming qualities. So the American crow, for one, has been subject to extermination attempts in the past, including the use of dynamite on large winter roosts, which is effed up. Now, those efforts ultimately failed.
Wait, dynamite what? Just to get rid of them?
Yeah. So those efforts failed, thanks largely to the bird's intelligence and adaptability, because, birds are smart.
Yeah.
Crows. The American crow is now more common than ever across a range of habitats, including farms, towns, and the big cities. Flagstaff is full of them.
Flagstaff's full of crows.
So whenever I see a crow, it means something to me now. The Hawaiian crow. What?
Give him a nut. Here you go, kid.
The Hawaiian crow, for instance, is a smart corvid with a penchant for tool use, yet it was declared extinct in the wild in 2002 after being wiped out by a disease, invasive predators, habitat loss, and human persecution. Fortunately, scientists have saved enough birds to start a successful captive breeding program and reintroduce the species to the wild.
Ooh.
So we got the Hawaiian crow back. Crows do sometimes raid farms and gardens, but any damage they cause may be offset by ecological benefits like seed dispersal and eating pest insects. So that's what they do, even though they
Makes
steal
sense.
your food.
Yeah.
Plus, while any
It happens.
species... It happens. Birds got to
Yeah,
eat.
birds gotta eat.
Plus, while any species has an inherent right to exist, we're especially lucky to have brainiacs like corvids living among us. They can help us learn about our intelligence and remind how much we still have in common with the wildlife around us. Now, in mythology. What?
I was gonna say the thing about Odin, but I think those are ravens, not crows.
What?
The thing about Odin in Norse mythology? I don't know if they're crows
With
or ravens.
what was it? Memory and what was the other bird's name? They're ravens, but
Yeah, okay. I forgot their names, but actually he has like two ravens.
It was Memory and something. It's Corvus's cousin.
Pain
but
and Panic.
I forgot what it was called. I read it like 2 days ago. If not, yeah, it was 2 days ago.
What did you read 2 days ago?
In my book. That's how I got the idea for crows.
What?
The crow's the narrator.
Oh. How was I supposed to pick the pieces for that?
My bad. I guess because I read it twice. Many in Europe believe crows to be the companions of witches and sorcerers, or that their presence was a bad omen. The ancient Greeks associated the crow with Apollo, the god of the sun, art, and knowledge, and the god of both plague and healing. That's interesting.
That's cool.
So, Tibeans, is that how you say it? How do you say that?
Tibeans? What?
Tibetan.
Tibetans?
Tibetans believed that crows carried the dead to the next life.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Crows are also used as clan animals in some indigenous peoples' cultures.
Nice.
Now, in parts of the Appalachian Mountains, a low-flying group of crows means that illness is coming. But if a crow flies over a house and calls 3 times, that means impending death in the family. Now, there's many of these, so I'll go over them. If a crow calls in the morning before the other bird gets a chance to sing, like a rooster or something, it's going to rain. Despite their role as messengers of doom and gloom, it's bad luck to kill a crow. If you accidentally do so, you're supposed to bury it, and be sure to wear black when you do. Seeing just a single crow is considered an omen of bad luck. Finding 2 crows, however, means good luck. 3 crows means health. 4 crows means wealth.
Ooh.
I know, this is like Dr.
I gotta find me 4 crows.
Yet spotting 5 means sickness is coming. And witnessing 6 means death is nearby.
Could you imagine like you're walking down
You're
walking like a trail and you see 4 crows and you're like, oh hell yeah, and like 2 more flying. No! And then
I can just imagine like there's like breadcrumbs on the floor.
You immediately get a call and you're like, Mom? Oh no! Don't tell me.
That'd be
not
sad.
Uncle Jack.
I can just imagine though, like there's 4 crows like eating like some bird seed or like some bread. They're eating. You're like, hey, hell yeah! And then like just 2, you just hear like flapping, and then 2 birds like just come in and join. You're just like,
oh no. Or like you see like 2, and you're like, okay, and then like 1 more comes in, and you're like, all right, and then just keep going like, all right, stop.
Stop.
You're like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. You see like 2 more coming. No.
You're like, drive the other way. So in my closing statement, you can learn quite a deal about how to live life from crows.
Got thrown down in the freeway.
Exactly. Everything ends. Houses do not stand forever. Floodwaters of a river will recede in time. Brothers do not divide an inheritance to keep it forever. Even mountains crumble to dust with the passage of time. Everything ends. There is no permanence. All must die. Simply, we cannot escape death. Laid simply. So cherish the small child who holds your hand, and make your partner happy in your embrace. Enjoy the daily pleasures of life. And that's some sage advice from Corvus, the bird from the book I was reading. That's all I got on crows.
That's all there is on crows. Everything does come to an end, though.
Top 10, yeah.
Like this podcast.